What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is early July, but it's football season already. Now, Howard Bender, it's Scott Fishbowl season. And yeah, look at that. Bender loses enough weight that he fits into his SFB 9 gear. We're so back, dude.
I saw that when you posted a picture of yourself. I think you were on the beach or something like that, and you were wearing the one with the rocket ship. That's like this light seafoam green one. I was like, I have that shirt. There's no way I can fit into that shirt right now. So I've been rocking and rolling, baby, trying to make that happen. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in here to Alarm Fantasy Football. Howard Bender, Andrew Cooper, obviously, and Coop. Why don't you tell the kids what we'd be doing today?
Today, you folks will remember today fondly as the day that Howard and Andrew got crazy rich. That's what today is. We've been doing the Fantasy Alarm family drafts with everybody involved. We've been doing those, contained leagues. Today, we're doing a best Ball Mania draft, and it's already underway. I joined early to make sure we got set up. And we are picking from the swing, the 12 spot. So Howard and I are going to put our noggins together, and we're going to attempt to win our share of $15 million today. If you want to try and win your share of $15 million, go over to underdog.com, use promo code ALARM. They'll match 50% of your deposit up to $250. And we do enough of these, and they've got enough pick 'em and things like that you're going to want to max that out. I wish I had that when I signed up, Howard, because I'm pretty sure I don't even remember what the deal was back then, but I think I got like $5 or something like that. There you go, right on the screen. Use that QR code, get all set up. But we're off and running here. And as usual in these drafts, Howard, a lot of orange on the board first round, huh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think what we've seen, no matter whether it's a best ball draft or a season-long draft, I think one of the things that we've seen routinely is the top 8 picks are the same. The next 4 or 5 picks, pretty much the same names, rarely does it get like crazy mixed up. But I guess here we're going to have to talk through this first pick and see where we want to go. Cause it's all the usual suspects there right now. I'm kind of thinking, all right, well, running backs who could be available right now are obviously Jahmyr Gibbs. Here we go. We're on the clock, baby. We're back-to-back picks.
We're on the clock. Yeah, Garrett Wilson went, which would have been an easy pick for me. So it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs or Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake London, Jonathan Taylor. I don't want to go down into like the Chris Olave and Brandon Ayuk group. So what do you think? Gibbs here and then a wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, Gibbs has that, the pass catching upside. I think he's a good, solid guy there. As far as the wide receiver goes, Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously has that crazy upside. And if we're thinking that we want to do some sort of like AZ, pairing here with Kyler Murray, that's definitely a way to go. Obviously, I don't want to plot it out that much. I actually don't mind Drake London, number 1 receiver in Atlanta. And they keep saying, right? Drake London said it, slow feet don't eat. And they're going to be moving fast and furious, very high pace of play there.
Yeah, we were on the clock, so I had to pull the trigger there, and I went Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison.
I did. I love Drake London, and I draft Drake London a ton. He's probably one of my most rostered players in these contained drafts we've been doing. But I'm thinking ahead, Howard. You said don't think ahead too far, but you and I, one of our number 1 favorite guys, a guy that we agree on, and we don't agree on everybody, but we do agree on Kyler Murray. If we can make it happen here, I think that's big. And the thing is, you need those correlations. You need those stacks in these big tournaments versus the contained ones. So that's the game. And the good news here is that we got a lot of Fantasy Alarm members here in the chat hanging out, helping us win the big bucks. Let us know what you guys think. We have Ann Dunn. What's happening? Mr. Fantasy in the house. Mile High Luke, Albert, all the regulars. So let us know who you want to see in this. Be a part of this. You know what I mean? It's a big thing. It's a lot of fun. So, I just think that with Marvin Harrison, if we can circle back and look at Kyler Murray, I've got the schedule here where I'm taking a little peek around. Maybe we can really stack up those playoffs. That's how you win the big bucks in these crazy games. I know it's a little bit of a different strategy, but I don't know. I'm in with Marvin Harrison. I don't have a lot of them, but if I'm going to draft him, it's going to be in these formats where if you only the top 16% of people make money in this. And if you're not in the top 10, you're not making a ton of money, So for me, I'm looking for big upside. I'll draft
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
like
yeah.
Neighbors.
I'm more than happy to swing for the fences here. Like season long play, I'll be, Mr. Safe and high floor guy. But yeah, listen, I was doing the Scott Fishbowl draft. We were talking about that. I'm picking ninth in mine, and I actually went with Kyler Murray with my first round pick, McBride as my second. And I was like, let me take a look and see, like, where do I want to go? Like at what point do I jump at Marvin Harrison Jr.? Right, Kelly Singh from Trophy Smack. She and I were being best buds when it came to our Arizona stacking love. 2 picks right before me, Marvin Harrison Jr. went. I was like, I have my Scott Fish nemesis now, and I'm name him because I don't want to give him the exposure, but I'm coming for you, buddy.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Everybody's fired up for it. I should have did what you did, man, and did the online draft and then just drafted in person in the Boston one.
Yeah,
that's a genius move, man. Genius move. Everybody's fired up for the live one with you. They're telling me I got to fly out, but it's this weekend, right?
Yeah, the San Francisco one is this weekend. If you guys are in the Bay Area, there's a bar called Tempest. It's on Natoma Street in downtown San Francisco, right near the Tenderloin area. And yeah, that's the way to go. Are you? Look at you.
It's getting a little too far there.
You're getting a little whacked out there with the technology.
Yeah. But hey, we can now we can see a little bit what's going on here. Maybe
well, you can stay on the board here. It's easier to track on the board. You can name for me who the best players are that we kind of want to take a look at here.
All right,
there
cool.
you go. No,
all right,
one more.
So we're coming
one more
back
down there. I can't see. There it is.
There it is. Beautiful. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. So we're coming back around. Guys that you and I both like here. Cooper Kupp, the value coming back here. Michael Pittman. I don't really want to go with Stephon Diggs or Tank Dell here. What are your thoughts, man?
I definitely don't want to go with Tank Dell or Stephon Diggs. I love Michael Pittman, and it also it definitely opens up the option of pairing with Anthony Richardson if we were to kind of open up there. I don't know where you want to go with the second pick, but I love me some Michael Pittman. I think that he's going to dominate in targets over there on that squad.
Yeah, the running back options. So I say Michael Pittman, Cooper Kupp just went. So Pittman, if he's there, running back options are Travis Etienne, Isaiah Pacheco, Josh Jacobs. I don't mind any of those guys here. I don't know. We don't want to go. If we go quarterback, they're all available. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I don't want to go QB yet.
All available as well. Yeah. So what do you think? Go wide receiver. The next group is T. Higgins, George Pickens, Amari Cooper. I could go Michael Pittman and a running back here.
Michael Pittman and a running back. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right, there's first QB off the board. So now the question is with the first QB off the board, Michael Pittman. Who's the all right, so Josh Jacobs or ETN? Who do you prefer more? I like Jacobs in season long for sure, but does ETN have like that higher upside? Doug Peterson did say that he's trying not to lean on ETN as much.
And we could also go Pacheco, man.
I'd rather go Jacobs than Pacheco.
Okay, let's go ETN here. I'm gonna go upside with ETN. I worry with Jacobs about the lack of pass catching, and there's a lot of Marshawn Lloyd steam. Whereas, everyone hates Tank Bigsby. It's hard to say. He had a very rough season, not just from a talent standpoint, but really made a lot of mistakes, right? Like even on special teams, he had one game where he had a huge penalty that negated I believe it was a blocked punt. He's just a lot of mistakes that he made that were that I just don't see him really taking over there. So kind of chalk so far, folks. For those that can't see or are just listening, Jahmyr Gibbs and Travis Etienne at running back, and then we have Marvin Harrison and Michael Pittman. So
quarterbacks and tight ends starting to come off the board a little bit here. Jalen Hurts gone, Josh Allen gone, Laporta, McBride. There goes Travis Kelce.
That makes me feel good about our wide receiver and running back picks, because that's kind of how it works with a lot of people. They just say, "Oh, I don't like anybody that's left. I'm going to take a quarterback and a tight end."
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what it is. I know Laporta, he's a player that we like. We love the talent. There's a lot of statistics that are in his favor, particularly contested catches where he led the league and
Mhm.
broken tackles, which obviously great for himself. It's just with the target hogs over there. It's so hard to predict him to have like 150 targets or 140 or 130 targets. And like, if I'm going to pull the first tight end off the board, that's what I want, right?
Right.
Like you got Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to get his. Everyone loves Jameer Gibbs. We have Jameer Gibbs. We love Jameer Gibbs. It's like, and then Jameson Williams getting all this hype. I think he's more of a 110, 120 target guy.
I think, listen, I think he's going to finish as a top 5 tight end. He's an obvious integral part of that passing scheme. I'm not against that. But, what we're talking about, the expanded route tree probably for Jameson Williams. The Amon-Ra is going to get his work. Jameer Gibbs obviously going to, continue to get involved. Like, that's the thing, is that Dan Campbell likes bringing these guys up, incrementally, like not just, like all at once sort of a thing. And so, with that, I told you, I'm fighting myself trying to figure out, do I want to go Kelsey or Kincaid as my number 1
Right.
tight end?
Yeah, that's tough, man. And again, yeah. I mean, something like this, I do like Mark Andrews in redraft, but I actually like him less in this format because one of the big reasons I like Mark Andrews in redraft is you can fall back on Isaiah Likely if he gets hurt.
Right.
That's not an option here. We're not doing that.
We're not handcuffing.
No. So in my best ball rankings, I have Mark Andrews significantly lower than I have him in redraft. And in a format like the Scott Fish Bowl, I actually have Mark Andrews lower than where I have him in redraft because Isaiah Likely gets drafted. You lose that benefit, right? Like the just knowing that I could just drop all my fab on Likely in a redraft league makes me really comfortable with Andrews. But in these bigger tournaments, I'm not going to go there. I don't think.
I've actually done 2 redraft leagues already where we've got really deep benches, right? Because they trying to like inspire more trading and less like reliance on fab. And in one of those leagues, I grabbed both Andrews and Likely. I'm like, if you're gonna give me that deep of a bench, well, then I'm not worried about losing a roster spot, and I might as well be safe with that.
It's the strongest position you can be in. And I'll make the same argument for Dynasty, right? Where it's like in Dynasty, if you have Mark Andrews and you can just trade for Isaiah Likely, that's the strongest and safest position you could be in because when Andrews got hurt, Isaiah Likely was a top 5 pick. Yeah. Love it. All right, we're coming back around. Dalton Kincaid just went. I had the fingers crossed there, but there's some players that you and I both. Now here's where we get into trouble, Howard, because now there's a bunch of players that both of us like, and we like, and there could be some disagreements here. So we both like Anthony Richardson. Jaden Reed is there. We both like Chris Godwin, Kyle Pitts, Joe Mixon. I don't know. Well, James Cook just went off the board. Those are the names. Jaden Reed just went, which actually saves us a lot of trouble because I didn't want to take
Richardson just went. I think we could go Kyler here with our pick.
Yeah. So Kyle Pitts also there.
Do it up, man.
Oh, Godwin just went. What do you think? Let's go Kyler with 1 pick.
Kyler and Pitts. Kyle and Kyler.
The old Kyler.
The double Ks.
Let's go, baby.
Right? I mean, if Godwin were there, I would have said Godwin over Pitts, and then I would have tried to pivot to like an Engram type guy who, they're saying that they want him to do deeper work, but the bottom line is he's just a PPR monster.
Right. It's the screens. Doug Peterson loves him some tight end screens. And the beauty of that, the beauty of the Engram pick is that once you get a guy like Engram, then with your next tight end or 2 tight ends, all you do is go for upside, right? Like who cares about floor? We have floor. We have a guy that catches, 3-4 balls every single week. So now you just go crazy because it doesn't matter, right? But we got Kyle Pitts. We got upside. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think anyone would be shocked if Kyle Pitts came out this year and, set the record for the most yards all time by a tight end. We're not predicting it, but would you be shocked?
No, listen, I've been digging really into the offense that Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson are putting together. It's all Zach Robinson, right? And, again, it's about heavy pace of play, like real high paced, and you've got the beauty of it is from a fantasy standpoint is that it's contained to Bijan, Pitts, London. Top 3 right there. those are going to be your three biggest point scorers off of this offense. Everybody else, Darnell Mooney is going to kind of float around.
Right.
They'll get some stuff there, but it's going to be contained in these top three, receivers and running backs.
If you like this offseason as a Pitts fan, like if you asked me what I wanted them to add, it would have been the exact things they added. Add a field stretcher that doesn't soak up targets, and then add a blocking tight end, right? Pure blocking tight end. Howard, they added Charlie Warner. Charlie Warner last year played 30% of the snaps for the 49ers, and he got 3 targets. 3 targets up. Give me that guy all day long, because every snap he plays consolidates the snaps among the guys who want to get the ball. I asked on Twitter earlier today, I said, of the teams out there, it's very rare for a team to have 3 guys all get 100 targets. This team could potentially do it. This team could do it. The Saints potentially. You got to look at where the consolidation is, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. I was going back and forth with Colby Conway about the Texans, and I'm like, listen, the fact that Andrew Beck is there, all right, and they've got good blocking tight ends, the amount of 2 receiver sets that Bobby Slowick likes to run, somebody's going to be unhappy over there. Like, that's the situation that I want to avoid when I'm doing this. There ain't no fullback in Atlanta, is there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There used to be. They let Keith Smith walk. They let him. He's probably going to end up with Arthur Smith at some point. But I feel good about it, man. And I'm telling you, that's why I have Tank Dell as a fade. It's just the other 2 guys are obviously bigger. He broke his leg in a goal line set last year, like a high ankle sprain so bad that he broke his leg. They said he had surgery. I don't know if he had the tightrope surgery or what, but he had surgery on a high ankle sprain, broken leg. And, someone's got to be the odd man out. And I just don't see it being Stephon Diggs. Can you imagine the attitude of Stephon Diggs if the coach said, hey, Stephon, these 2 guys are better than you, so you're going to have to sit out. Can you imagine, Howard? How Stephon Diggs,
right? Yeah, like why am I here? Why am I on this team if that's the case? And I'll tell you what, it's kind of funny. We'll touch on this in a second here. I want to get back to it, but we're going to be coming on our picks here and take a look at what we're up against. Yes. Who are the receivers who are out there right now for us?
It's Jamison Williams, Cortland Sutton, Rashid Shaheed are the 3 names that I'm looking at. I don't want to go down to like Romeo Dubs. I'm not interested in Tyler
Jamo
Lockett.
And Shaheed, I think, have the higher ceiling out of those 3. I think those are the guys that we're going to want to stretch it out the most.
We might want to double tap right now, because if those 2 are both there, because it gets kind of shaky. It gets shaky for a few rounds, and then it circles back to some guys that I like, but it gets kind of ugly. There are some running backs available, Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, but again, I don't know. We're kind of in the split backfield world here. I say we just take them both right now.
Yeah, double tap those guys, Shaheed and and
home run balls, right? They both get handoffs from time to time. I got a whole article up on Shaheed that Howard, the very first sentence says, "If I learned one thing from Howard Bender, one of those." But it's about scheme, so I had to give you a shout out.
I appreciate that.
When are the scheme articles going up?
Those are coming up at the towards the tail end of July. I'm sitting there. I'm in the middle of writing them all right now, just doing added research. What I like seeing is when training camp starts up, because I start seeing a little bit more. They're tipping their hands on the offense a little bit more just by seeing what they are kind of running in early camp. So I want to make sure I get all of that that whole aspect in there. What was the point that I was going to make before that I wanted to go back to? Oh, yeah. You were talking about, what was it, Tank Dell?
Yes.
Yeah. And I just wanted to, because when we talk about scheme, like that's one of the things that I'm adding to this, to the articles this year is all about player personnel tendencies,
right? And
how Slowick does it. And by the way, here you go. I know I'm covering the draft board, but you're going to want to do yourself a favor here and get yourself the Fantasy Football Draft Guide. In addition to, all the shows that we do and all the articles that we're writing, the insights, the rankings, everything that you're going to get here, absolutely huge. You can zap that QR code or just go to fantasyalarm.com/draft. And, on my bust list, again, I knew I was going to take some heat from it, and I've had conversations with people. Tank Dell is on that list just for
So
the fact,
too.
and like, I'm not saying that he's going to be shit and he's going to be garbage for the entire season. What I'm saying is you're not going to get the consistency with what you want. You're going to get more games. It's like George Kittle, right? Yeah, you're going to get your 6 catches for 108 yards and 2 touchdown game, but you're also going to get your 3 catches for 48 yards and
I tell
nothing
you,
else.
I tell a different person. I swear, in my hometown league, a different person drafts Kittle every year because at the end of the year it looks good, but the person that had Kittle knows what it's like to have him. And he
Yeah.
goes out and has 1 catch for 7 yards.
And I
Right?
think that's what we're looking at with Tank Dell in this scheme right now. Somebody's always going to be unhappy. Like,
Right.
and you think about it, right? You said Stephon Diggs, you brought him in, right? And then you paid Nico Collins. You didn't pay him to bench him.
Right, exactly. And you see this just, and again, it's a cliche, but people say it for a reason with the too many mouths to feed. We want teams that have their back up against the ropes. That's why I'm looking at the Saints and I'm like, they got Kamara, they got Olave. They're bringing in Clint Kubiak, who uses that fullback, the same scheme. They drafted the left tackle, just like the 49ers did, with Trent Williams and the Dolphins with Teron Armstead and Laramie Tunsil. Like they're building the offense, right? And then somebody's got to be their guy. It could be, I want it to be Rashid because he's got the upside. He's more fun. The boring option is Cedric Wilson, who learned the offense with Miami. That would, it's on the table, but nobody wants that, right? And then the other one would be A.T. Perry, who is like a 6th round. He's kind of a stiffer split end type player. So
Yeah, he's
good
good to stretch the field. He's good for the sideline routes because he can get physical and get the contested catches. But there's no consistency with him.
No. And he had a pretty full role once Michael Thomas went down last year, and he didn't really do much with it. Whereas Shaheed, man, he was running back punts. He had 1,200 return yards last year on top of 700 receiving yards. He had 75 targets, right? This guy, he had a 40-yard rushing touchdown. It's like, that's what we're looking for. That's what Tyreek Hill did in his early seasons, right? Tyreek Hill was not super consistent his first year or even his second year, but he was just so explosive. And every time he had the ball, he was scoring, right? That's what we want. And Jameson Williams, I mean, say what you will, every play that he has is a 40-plus yard play. So maybe he can put it together this year. We're coming back around. So we have a question. We have to decide. For the quarterbacks, the only one I'm taking from this group personally is I would consider Jaden Daniels if he's there, but I don't really want to go with like Caleb Williams or Brock Purdy or any of those guys. So what do you think, Howard? Jaden Daniels, or do we wait on quarterback?
I mean, I think, as far as like, the old cheat code situation here, I think we could go Jaden Daniels and make that happen. I'm fine with that. We don't need to, pair him up with anybody. You can just kind of like, let him do his thing. I guess the other question is where do we want to go with that next pick?
He has the same bye week as Kyler, so we would have to circle back for another quarterback.
Well, that's all right, because we'll take Will Levis late, right?
Bingo. All right. So we'll take Jaden Daniels as one if he's there after this pick. He just got taken one pick before. I love this game. This is great.
It's the best.
All right. So running back, Trey Benson, Javonte Williams, Devin Singletary, Zeke Elliott.
I like Javonte out of that crew.
Me too. Good. All right. We'll take Javonte.
A lot of screens.
Our next pick, we got Adonai Mitchell, who I don't love. Brandon Cooks, who, could be that second target. Mike Williams. I mean, these are the kind of, the kind of plays you gotta try and make. But I think Breece Hall could have 90 targets again. So I don't know if Mike Williams is going to be super exciting. Jerry Jeudy is a player I like that you don't like.
I hate him.
Josh Downs. I'm not taking Jacoby Myers in this format. Not taking Dontavian Wicks. What do you think?
I mean, I don't mind.
Tight ends.
Well, who's the other? Who are the tight ends that are out there?
Njoku, Goddard, Schultz, Freiermuth.
I actually really like Goddard this year.
All right, we'll take him. In best ball, I like him. Best ball, I do like Goddard because, he's the third fiddle, but there is no fourth guy, right? Like and again, in a format like this where you need a little luck, all it takes is one injury to either A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith, which we've seen multiple times now. It's usually Goddard that gets hurt, but when one of them gets hurt, the other guys just get 9 targets a game, right? Like they've done it with all 3 of them have missed a game here or there, and the other 2 guys just get peppered. So,
well, I think what you also have to understand is what Kellen Moore likes to do. Remember, it was Kellen Moore who turned out Dalton Schultz for everybody, right?
Yeah, I mean, Sirianni before didn't he just I don't know what it was, didn't like throwing a Goddard in the end zone, and I think hopefully that changes here because
I
that's
think
been
it
the big
changes. I
thing.
think it
That's
changes with Moore calling the
right.
shots.
Yeah, because
Sirianni's not calling the plays here.
yeah, Schultz. What if you go back and look at the highlights from that year for Schultz? It wasn't a lot of creating for himself. It wasn't a lot of him having to do a whole lot. It was a lot of play action. It was a lot of comebacks and zone, which anyone can do that, and Goddard absolutely can do that. We just gotta hope he doesn't get hurt, man. He's been hurt every single year, 5 years in a row now. But again, throw it out the window in Best Ball Mania. We
He's
already
due.
need luck
He's due.
for a healthy year, right? We already need luck. So at tight ends, man, we don't need to draft another if we don't want to.
Yeah, we don't
So
need to. We definitely need to look for that second QB. I don't know if you want to go with like a Cousins type guy who's like,
I
got
love
a good upside there, but he's more of like a floor type guy, or if you want to hit with like, again, I just did a video on Will Levis, and I just
yeah.
everything is just pointing towards throwing the ball there excessively in Tennessee. And like one of the things that I said in the, I didn't put this in the video, but I've said this, time and time again. I don't give a crap if Tennessee wins a single game all year long.
That's
You
right.
know, who would have been ideal for Best Ball Mania back in the day? Give me Blake Bortles and Allen Robinson, right?
Right?
Losing almost every game of the season, but chucking the ball ridiculously.
Mhm. That
And
year, Jameis Winston, right? The year he threw 30 picks and 30 touchdowns. Who
like one of
cares?
the things about it though is that, Brian Callahan, he worked with Peyton Manning, he worked with Matthew Stafford, he's worked with Joe Burrow. He knows how to fix Will Levis's accuracy issues. We already know that Levis has a cannon for an arm to throw it downfield. If he can kind of, if he can contain some of the stupid mistakes and just improve on the accuracy, I mean, you've given him so many weapons. I just don't understand it. And it's a week 5 bye.
Yeah. So unless we get a crazy value on a quarterback here, which I'm not even sure there's really crazy, like, maybe like Tua last like a bunch of rounds. I say
Mhm.
we plan on waiting and taking two from that group. I would be cool with any two of Will Levis, Deshaun Watson, Bryce Young,
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, Drake May.
No, you can't do that to me. You can't hang me out to dry with the Drake May pick here. I mean, I'll be honest with you
telling
though.
you.
Like a Will Levis, Deshaun Watson double tap would be
I'll be
insane.
down for that, and I think it's super affordable to do. The Drake May, my stance on Drake May. It's not a homerism thing. It's a if he runs the ball 5 times a
Right. Yeah,
game,
exactly.
But again, yeah, the team. I was
It would
looking
just
at
make me feel so
our
dirty to
our
win $1
guy.
million knowing that it was
Yeah,
like Drake May's there.
I will say this: our guy Connor Allen. I know you're a big Connor Allen fan too. You had him on the Sirius XM show.
Mhm.
He's really good with the odds and the betting. He went through, pulled all the over-unders from all the games and all the spreads, and pulled all the implied point totals. And the Patriots, based on his calculation, are the implications based on all the numbers. Are the Patriots are set to score like 100 fewer points than any other team if Vegas is right.
Gross.
So it is just, and it makes all the sense in the world when you remember that they actually have a good defense already, and their special teams is pretty solid, which
Yeah.
is the worst combination for fantasy football possible.
Well, you're buying tickets for that Patriots Chargers game in week 16 or 17?
Yeah, that's gonna be 17. Yeah,
We're all going, right? We're all gonna go there. We're gonna paint fantasy alarm on our chests, and we're gonna go there with like no shirts on.
buddy. If it rains, if it sleets for that game, tickets will be like $5, brother. I'll buy tickets for everybody in the chat. I've been to one of those, man, where it was sleeting against Buffalo, and the Patriots already had the bye locked up, and it was those are special games, brother. Those are good ones. You can't even order beers because the sleet ruins your beer before you can drink it. You got to get like a ice, one of those like iced teas or something that's not carbonated. That's how bad those games get.
I've been to those games. I've been to
Yeah.
the AFC Championship game. Finished up. It was like the Jets were up like 6-0 at the half and lost the game 10-6. 1998 AFC Championship game in Denver.
All right. We're coming up right now.
Where are we going? Where are we
So
going?
I actually, for wide receivers left, I actually don't mind. I actually do like Jalen Polk. So there's like Jalen Polk, Xavier Legette. I don't like John Dotson, and we're not going to go Ricky Pearsall.
No.
So if we're taking a wide receiver, it's either one of these guys or Roman Wilson. We do need.
I don't mind Polk here. I mean, it's it's deep into it. Who are the
all the quarterbacks available? No one's taking them. So we could take Trevor Lawrence, Tua, and this is the Goddard pick. It's kind of hurting now because Freiermuth came back too.
Oh,
yeah. For running backs, Kendre Miller, Nick Chubb. You want to go Nick Chubb here, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Jalen Polk just went before we could pick.
I know.
So let's go Nick Chubb. And then man, I really don't like any of the wide receivers here, man, because we're not going to take like Darnell Mooney.
All right. Who's the tight ends out there? Freiermuth is still there.
Yeah.
Running? Well, no, we just took there. Take a QB then. Like we can go for a third QB with like Levis at the tail end, unless you want to save that for the bottom.
We could take Goff with Jameson Williams, or we could take Trevor Lawrence or Tua. Let's take Tua, dude.
Yeah, he's just got that weaponry.
Yeah. I mean, again, we did this. We're doing it again though, Howard, right? Like we did this the year before last when Tua was great, but then he got hurt, where it was like Tyreek Hill is going like 4th overall and Jalen Waddle is going,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
No. Tyreek's a first rounder. Waddle is a late second, early third rounder. If both of these guys are going to give you the value that you want, that you're drafting them at, then you have to be in on Tua.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. That's the thing, you know. And you look at, yeah. So I'm in. I think Jonnu Smith.
Oh, there you go. You want to throw a little Jonnu in there?
I can do it.
You sneaky son of a bitch!
You sandbagging son of a
you
gun.
sandbag.
Well, it's different. It's different in best ball than it is in redraft because just like George Kittle, it's the same setup. It's Alec Ingold plays half the game, right? Durham Smythe is going to play a bunch of useless snaps. Right, Braxton Berrios and these guys. Odell Beckham Jr. is not going to do a damn thing. Like somebody's got to do something. So he could definitely pop off. Plus, I mean, when you talk about guys that have 50-yard touchdowns on their resume, Jonnu has a couple of them. He has a carry for 60-something yards. He's got a 50-yard touchdown. So he fits the bill.
Yeah. Mile High Luke sitting in chat wants to know where the belief in Nick Chubb is coming from. He also wanted to know about the number 2 running back in Arizona. He thinks it could sneakily be Michael Carter and not Trey Benson. I'll say this about Nick Chubb. Late if you're playing in season long, a late handcuff to Deonta Foreman, like Jerome Ford will never have the job to himself.
No, he's not that good.
Right? If Nick Chubb doesn't play because of his knee, Jerome Ford will be out there, but Deonta Foreman's going to be that between the tackles guy near the goal line. If Nick Chubb turns out and he's fine, well then, Ford will get spelled in a little bit. So I think what you can do is you can grab, and this is season long, you can grab Nick Chubb and look for him and then, turn around and grab Deonta Foreman late. In a format like this where Nick Chubb is our 4th running back, right? If he plays, fantastic. If he doesn't, we're not killing ourselves here with an early pick. There's not a lot of draft capital thrown in on him.
We could draft Rico Dowdle and guarantee that he sucks, or we could draft Nick Chubb and give ourselves a chance at upside. You know what I mean? And the thing with Chubb is he says he's trying to be back for week 1. He converted his contract into an incentive-heavy contract, which makes a lot of sense for him because he got hurt in week 2 and he'll be able to hit the incentives if he plays at all. But he has big incentive to play because now all that guaranteed money is incentive tied, right? And the thing that we're forgetting is that Breece Hall last year came back off a serious knee injury and was the RB2. I know Chubb is older and the injury was pretty gruesome, but all signs indicate to him being on track. Nobody's come out and say like with Marquise Lee a few years back where they were like, oh man, he's not on track. This is bad. everyone says Nick Chubb's on track, and he's one of the best pure rushers that I've ever seen play football.
Yeah.
So if he comes back and he's 80% of Nick Chubb, he's better than every running back that's available on the board. And in this format, if he doesn't come back at all, who cares? Because it's Ricky Bobby format, baby. If you're not first, you're last. So we might as well take guys like that.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, he asks, what's the actual upside? No way he's as explosive and a difference maker he was before. I'm not going to say yes to that because I know the scheme that they run in Cleveland, and I know what Stefanski thinks of Nick Chubb. He's not going to run him out there and give him 30 carries a game. He's going to kind of steadily move him along, and if that means that Nick Chubb is a big second half of the season guy, that's even better for us, right? We can rely on the Jahmyr Gibbs and the Travis Etiennes for the early part of the season. If if Cleveland's just going to, if Nick Chubb has had a light load early on and can be explosive towards the tail end, I'm in for it.
Right. And again, you got to remember modern medicine, the ACLs aren't as bad as they once were. Yeah. Guys are coming back from Achilles now. Dude, Will Disley tore his patella tendon and he's still playing ball. Will Disley has had.
Do you really call what Will Disley does playing ball, though?
Well, he's still in the league. Back in the day, it was even just a few years back. Yeah.
All right, where are we going? We're coming up here. Where are we going?
You don't want to hear me talk about Cadillac Williams and David.
Ooh, I love Cadillac Williams.
Cadillac. All right, we're taking Pop Douglas here, so I'll move him up to the top. He's actually the top wide receiver in ADP too.
I actually don't mind him. I really don't. Not in this format. I'm okay with that. The question is where are we going with the next one?
Yeah. The other wide receiver options are Wan'Dale Robinson, and it's a bit of a reach, but Michael Wilson would really fit what we're doing here.
Michael Wilson fits what we're doing here, or Zay Jones fits what we're doing here as well.
The next wide receiver on the next tight end on the board based on ADP is Hunter Henry.
Ooh.
If we wanted to do that.
You know how I feel about Henry. I'm okay with Henry. I'm also okay with taking Michael Wilson. That just kind of fits our stack.
Yeah, let's do Michael Wilson. Okay. Let's go thin at I think we should probably, and I hate saying this, we should probably be done at quarterback and tight end. I mean, we spent up on Kyler and Tua. Mm-hmm. I think that's fine there. And then we have Pitts and Goddard. I mean,
maybe. How many picks do we have left?
We still have four picks left. We need wide receiver depth. We do.
All right. So
our wide receivers.
Let's start milking the wide receiver point. But you know what? Don't be afraid to take Will Levis with a final pick.
Yeah. Okay. I got him in the queue.
Don't rule that out, Coop.
Put it this way: if at any point we accidentally auto draft, it will be Will Levis.
There you go. See, better than a type player.
Which there's a lot of. We're going to need one more running back. We need at least one more running back, and then the rest should probably be wide receivers. So for those that are, again, if you're just working and listening, Kyler Murray and Tua at quarterback, Pitts and Goddard at tight end. We've got running back Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, and Nick Chubb. Then wide receiver, it's Marvin Harrison, Michael Pittman, Jamison Williams, Rashid Shaheed, Pop Douglas, and Michael Wilson.
Yeah, I like that's a good best ball receiving core.
A lot of correlation there. Let's see, who do the Cardinals play in week 16 and 17? Cardinals play the Panthers and the Rams in the last 2 weeks. So Demarcus Robinson is not necessarily a crazy pick. Panthers, jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez, who do the Dolphins play? I know the Dolphins play the Dolphins have a terrible schedule in the playoffs, to be honest. Their end of season schedule, the Dolphins goes Jets, Texans, 49ers, Browns, Jets again. Week 16 and 17 are 49ers and Browns.
Well, he's going to be throwing.
Elijah Moore quietly got 98 targets last year, but they did bring in Jerry Jeudy. I don't want Elijah Moore under any circumstances.
Me neither.
I'm changing. No.
Me neither. Who are the top running backs that are out there right now? Because if we need another running back, also, we want to make sure that we land that.
So the top name that I would want hopefully nobody's watching this stream because we keep getting sniped. J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, yeah.
And I
We
would
can see what he
love that
does.
pick here.
There's
I would
definitely
love that
this,
pick
like,
here.
yeah, there's a reason, and that's I always like doing that also. When a coach brings a player from his former team, it always makes me give him a second
Right.
look.
Right. He knows the plays. I mean, the thing is, you got to remember, especially with rookies, these languages are so different. I just wrote an article on Fantasy Alarm talking about the different languages. Where some people call it a split end, some people call it the wide receiver one, some people call it the X receiver, right? In high school, like if you talk about a route where the player just runs straight down the field, I've heard that called a go route, a fly route, a 9 route, a 5 route, a fade.
A
Like
post.
it's, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many different languages. That's why Tavon Austin out of college came out and said the playbook looked like Spanish to me because it's different languages. So the fact that J.K. Dobbins already speaks the language is why we're picking him right now because we're on the clock.
There you go.
So we're going to take Dobbins here, which
Yeah.
is a pick that I love. Wide receiver, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen McMillan, Javon. I like every wide receiver in this range better than the wide receivers we were looking at last time around.
Okay.
McCaffrey, McMillan, Javon Baker. I want to take one of those guys, to be honest.
Okay.
Luke McCaffrey's kind of growing on me.
What about Jermaine Burton? Is he still out?
He's right.
Is he in there?
No, he's not.
Okay.
I love that.
Well, go ahead. Take your guy. Take your guy. I know you want Javon Baker. I know you want it.
No, we already took Pop. We already bet on Pop. We already bet
okay,
on Pop.
good.
So let's go McCaffrey. McCaffrey or McMillan? Unless you want to take Will Levis.
Let's go Luke McCaffrey.
Will Levis is going to go before we come back.
Oh, well, then take Will. You know I want him.
All right, take him.
I know you hate it.
No, I don't. I like
I can't see the bottom of the draft board, dude. Can you scroll
He's got a cannon
down a little bit for me?
We just took Tennessee
That's so
J.
pretty. That's
Tennessee
so pretty.
J Cutler, dude.
Fantasy J Cutler.
Tennessee J. That's where I mean a lot of similarities. Big arm, and they said that Jay Cutler never even fixed his fundamentals. He just played with bad fundamentals. But Will Levis had those same things where they're like, let's coach him up and we can fix him up. So I feel good about it. I'm taking the quarterbacks out of the queue. Russell Wilson just went.
Yeah, we don't know QB. So I think what we're doing here, let's just the best wide receivers out there, I think, are what we're looking for.
That's what we have to do with our last two picks.
Yeah.
And I think there's some names here that could carve out roles. I mean, Greg Dortch, if we're going super stack with the Cardinals.
If we're going super stack, do you want Dortch or do you want Zay Jones?
I mean, Zay Jones they both go back to back. Probably would be Zay Jones. It's just whenever I see guys get released like that, I'm just like,
yeah, no, I'm with you.
Everything I've read about him, the coaches are saying good things. Zay Jones said that, when he showed up, they were like, oh, how's your family? How's your health? Like they actually care about the guy, so I don't know.
All right, well, run down the list. Who are the wide receivers who are out there right now?
This is I'll name the most boring player ever that we probably should take, which is Tyler Boyd. Now that we've drafted Will Levis,
I'll definitely take Tyler Boyd. I know how much you hate that.
I know it's just such a boring thing. Well, at this stage, though, I mean, I will say this: because we've drafted Jamison Williams and Rashid Shaheed, we actually kind of could use a couple boring. You know what I mean? We could kind of use.
You need some high floor guys. Absolutely, that's the whole concept of the dynamic tier rankings, Coop.
I think it truly is, dude. What a beautiful thing. All right, so I would be cool with. I think Tyler Boyd should be our pick here.
Okay.
We already bet on Pop Douglas, so we don't want to do Javon Baker. I think.
Okay.
We've got Devontae Walker. Tez Walker for the Ravens, trying to beat out Rashad Bateman. We got Darius Slayton, who led. Tyler Boyd just went. Unbelievable. We got Darius Slayton, who quietly led the Giants in virtually every stat last year. Obviously not with Malik Neighbors. He's probably on the outs. DJ Chark, Odell Beckham, Jalen Hyatt, if we want to go more high upside.
Oh, I think Jalen Hyatt's got some good upside there. I mean, Neighbors is going to get all the looks. I mean, Slayton, Hyatt. I feel like Hyatt was so underutilized last year, and everybody was like riding the Giants brass about it. But keep going. Give me some more names.
So then there's the two Cowboys guys that are getting hype, Jalen Brooks and Ryan Flournoy, if you wanted to do that. If you want to do, we could do Calvin Austin from the Steelers.
Steelers.
I don't want to do like Josh Reynolds or any of those guys. Do you? Brendan Rice. I like Hyatt. I mean, every Patriots wide receiver is available.
What about Hyatt and McMillan? Can we get both those guys in there?
McMillan, somebody grabbed him.
Did somebody grab him already?
Yeah,
oh yeah, they're right there.
So Jay, it's like, yeah, DJ Chark, Rondell Moore is that in the Cooper Cup role in Zach Robinson's offense, maybe.
All right, listen.
I just think he's small and he's not good.
Slow feet don't eat.
That's the problem I run into there. Yeah, I'm not loving too many of these other guys. There's a lot of them that go against bets we've already made. You know, like we're not going to draft A.T. Perry because that would be a nightmare for Shaheed.
Shaheed, yeah. No, I think Hyatt's a good guy to throw down there. And then who else did you say?
Xavier Gibson.
Yeah.
Nah, he's going up against Malachi Corley. Do we want to do the Mile High Luke mentioned Jacob Cowing in the chat, beating out Ricky Pearsall, but it's not gonna. I mean, the problem is that's not a good role anyway. I don't really care about who wins that because
no.
they use
I'd rather like a Brendan Rice and just see if the Jerry Rice pedigree sticks.
Yeah,
sort of a thing. But I don't know what he looks like in camp.
He's statistically was pretty mediocre. All right, we're on the clock. Jalen Hyatt's going to be one.
Mm-hmm.
I say we go Jalen Hyatt, Brendan Rice, or we can take either Zay Jones or Greg Dortch went. So if we want to take
Dortch went. Yeah, do Zay Jones, and that way we lock down a little Arizona action there.
And I heard him say, plus you got to remember with these stacks and stuff, all it takes is one injury, right? Trey McBride wasn't doing much until Zach Ertz got hurt, right? That's part of the game. It's going to happen, and you got to give yourself a couple outs there. So, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. goes down, we're probably in big trouble. But if Michael Wilson goes down, now Zay Jones is the only guy they got because they let everybody else go. So that's it. That's the squad. Quick recap for everybody: Kyler Murray, Tua, Will Levis, all different bye weeks. Monster arm on Will Levis. Running backs: Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins. There's a world where all five of those guys are starting running backs.
Right? I like that. That's a good.
You're going to go with only five. Pick five potential starting running backs. Wide receiver: Marvin Harrison, Michael Pittman, Jamison Williams, Rashid Shaheed, Pop Douglas, Michael Wilson, Jalen Hyatt, and Zay Jones. A lot of pop there.
That's a lot of upside stretching the field, kind of,
Yeah. And then at tight end, Kyle Pitts and Dallas Goedert. I hate to say it, but the number one thing this team could use is an injury to Trey McBride. That I know. I'm
so invested everywhere else, dude.
So am I. But I mean, like that would set the stage for what we got going on here. So that's it, folks. We could be revisiting this time next year, being like, how'd they do it? How'd they win $1 gazillion? It's by drafting this squad here. I wanted to ask you, because I got in this debate yesterday, Howard. We got a couple more minutes here.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on Gardner? If you were on the clock in like a Scott Fish Bowl or something like this, and the only option, like say you fell asleep and you woke up in the last round, and the only possible starting QBs left were either Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, who would you pick?
Sadly, I would take Gardner Minshew. I just, he's got the experience. Like he's never going to be a QB who's going to blow you away, but I think he's strong enough and experienced enough to minimize the mistakes. Whereas Aiden O'Connell, I don't see the upside in Aiden O'Connell. That if you're talking about two guys who are just game managers, I'd rather go with Gardner Minshew, who's got that kind of like, he's got the attitude, he's got the spice, he'll run it in himself, he'll
right.
He'll play
and
around.
I think
I hate it. But...
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think now that they've picked, now that they've made Antonio Pierce the head coach, that to me basically says that Devontae Adams is going to be deciding who the quarterback is, right? Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
pretty much. You know what I mean? It's like that. They decided to go with the coach that all the players wanted, the player coach. All the clips of them shooting hoops in the locker room. Like, I think that's how it's going to work. Is whoever vibes best is going to be in that situation. And a veteran like that who cares about his legacy and cares about his stats, he's probably going to side with the veteran. I think. I did see some stuff. Aiden O'Connell's been working out with Alex Guerrero, Howard. Yeah, yeah, TV12 method.
Oh,
We'll see.
please.
He's
I think
lying.
Devontae's going to walk past them in the locker room. He's going to like open up a box with like a nice Rolex in there. And he's going to be like, who loves me more?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, that's what he said that when he left the Packers. He cares about his legacy, and the way to get there, if you're a wide receiver, is playing a long time and racking up stats. Because that's how you become the next Larry Fitz, right? So
Larry Fitz,
man, what a stud, dude. Yeah, the same kid in my draft used to pick him every single year, and it used to work out for him every year.
Unreal.
Just a kid that not prepared, just picking the same old dudes and it, hitting every time. So,
all right. Well, as we wrap up the show here, I just want to throw it out to everybody out there, a number of different things, and we can drop this draft board now and focus on some of the important stuff for you guys out there. There's the draft guide link, the QR code. It's fantasyalarm.com/draft. The offensive line rankings got released today. Dan Malin's got a full breakdown and full article available. The cheat sheet is out, including my linear rankings and Coop's dynamic tier rankings. It's like, and the draft grid, everything you could possibly need over there. The draft guide, we're going to be, rolling out more articles. John and Pemba and Coop are banging out these crazy pieces for each, specific position to make that happen. I'm working on the coaching schemes and all of that stuff is going on. So here you go. It's fantasyalarm.com/draft. Gets you that draft guide. Now, if you want more and you want to talk about DFS and you want to talk about betting and you want to talk about everything else that goes along with all sports, then you want to go to the monthly subscription. If you go to fantasyalarm.com/win, use the promo code Let's Go. We'll take 50% off your first month. And that's going to, that right there, because you're going to get the draft guide and the cheat sheets and everything like that. It's all included. You get all the betting content to kind of get you guys all set and squared away. It also gives you, priority into when we start doing these drafts here. So, be on the lookout there as well.
And I'll tell you one thing I'm doing this year. So, like the people that haven't gotten the draft guide in the past don't know some of the special content that comes in there, like the running back questionnaire, right? That breaks down all the groups in a grid, and the target totem pole, right? That takes every team and lists the players in the target pecking order with the confidence levels and who plays X, split end, all those things.
Right.
What I'm doing this year, by popular demand in the chat, in the Discord, everyone was asking, like, can I get a copy of the target totem pole so I can put my own opinions in there so I can move some guys around? I'm taking the dynamic tier rankings, the target totem pole, and the running back questionnaire at the end of this week and putting it in the Excel packet. And I'm going to provide that on the Discord to anybody who wants it. I know a few people already said it. Last year, people were asking for the target totem pole. Then that way you can take my opinions, put your opinions on top of that, sprinkle it around. And that's how you get the perfect draft day, the perfect draft day tool. It's like, it's my guide and all your takes, and that's how you win. So we're going to provide that to everybody. If you're in the Fantasy Alarm Discord, just ask for a copy. I'm going to put it in Coop's Corner coming up probably this Friday.
There you go. And if you guys want to jump in and have some even more fun, hit me up on all of my socials. Make sure you take a look at that, because at RotoBuzzGuy on Twitter, at RotoBuzzGuy on Instagram, Howard Bender and Half Moon Bay on Facebook, at The Real RotoBuzzGuy on TikTok. Later on tonight, I will be announcing it on the Fantasy Alarm show, but we're going to be running a massive run of Beat Howard Bender contests at a variety of stakes to kind of make it open for everybody. And I said, I don't care how many leagues I do. You guys want to play against me? You want to be the man? You got to beat the man.
Yes.
And that means you're going to end up jumping in on those. So follow me on my socials. Look for those announcements. It's going to be we're going to absolutely kill it this year. We're going to have an amazing, amazing time. No doubt about that.
Love it. And you know what? The winners of those RT Sports, anyone that beats Howard Bender, we'll count the winners of those towards the trophies on the
Discord
family
badge.
Yeah, we'll do the family badges. So if you win one of those, you'll get a trophy on that. So
which you won't, because you're going up against me. and listen, and I've said this before, right? Like when we go and do it, I'm doing these all over at rtsports.com. And you can go to rtsports.com/Bender and use the there's a promo code there to get a 50% match deposit. The leagues will be posted there to sign up. So again, I'll talk more about this, as we go through. But again, if you just if you're looking for it, I'm here. I'm ready. You want a shot at the title? You gotta get a shot. Listen, I got all these stupid rings and all these stupid awards and all these trophies that are sitting here all over the place for all the leagues that I've won. You want a piece of me?
Check the mock draft that we did with Rich Rebar, JJ Zach Reese, and the gang. That's part of the draft guide. The ADP over on RT Sports is different, to say the least. So make sure you check that mock draft out, because there are some guys that are hidden in those rankings. I drafted Roman Wilson. He was outside the top 1,000 players when I drafted him. So get over there, check that out.
Well, the more beat Howard Bender drafts we run, the more the better that ADP is going to get, the more useful it's going to be for everybody. Sure. But that's going to do it for us here on the show today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, please hit that like button. If you don't already subscribe to Fantasy Alarm's YouTube page, please hit that subscribe button as well. Get notifications for when we do in all our shows and all the drafts that you can get involved with. And again, it's just a free way to say thank you to us for providing you with all this content.
Oh yeah. Thanks, everybody. Right. On Friday, I'm bringing back Coop's Fantasy Football Fiasco, and I'm going to go in and talk about the draft guide specifically and just make sure everybody knows what the heck's going on in there. We'll sneak a couple secrets in there, but just kind of tell you